It's really about the things that you don't say, and the things that are below the surface, that are always, you know, trying to bubble up. And in this movie they do. And it's really an investigation. I think to me, really, it's about power, and how power plays into or doesn't play into all of these people's lives in Los Angeles, and how Los Angeles itself plays on people, and it's the power of the city. Every character in it has some nice dark flaws that they're dealing with, and Graham is, you know, not the exception in any way. He's dealing with his family, he's dealing with his brother, he's dealing with the city and the power structure in the city and the power structure within the LAPD. So it's just a lot and because of the nature of the script and who he is, yes, he is sort of interwoven between a lot of the different storylines. Met with Paul and Bobby, who co-wrote it, and said, even if I can't be involved in this, you know, even if it doesn't work out for my schedule, or you guys don't see me in any of these roles, I would love to help you get this movie made, and however I can. And so we discussed me being a producer and coming on that capacity, and just sort of helping to build this piece and build the cast and work on the script and work with Bobby and Paul closely, and Kathy as well. And just kind of bring it to life. It just seemed like a natural progression, because I was very taken by the script and very behind trying to get it done by any means. These are not issues that to me are new. These are not issues that to me are daring and risque. It's like, look, this is what goes down. This is how people think. This is how people talk. This is what happens when people aren't being polite. And, you know, can we be honest enough to admit that? And that's, I guess, what the challenge of this film is to say, you know, you want to laugh at that. You know that's wrong to laugh at that, but you want to laugh at that. So go ahead and laugh at that, and then examine why was that funny to me, and why was I struggling with, is it okay to laugh, and is it okay to laugh? That to me is the best thing a film can do, is really raise questions and make you examine your own motives. And if this can do that, then I think the film's a success. The one thing that almost everybody who we went to responded to was the script and the material. And when you have good material, when there's such a dearth sometimes of good material in LA, it's not hard to attract actors to it. It's a huge ensemble cast, and I think that it's cast appropriately and it's cast well to make this thing come to life. And Paul is really finding his way and really finding his vision and his communication, and I think he's going to get a good result.
Trailers. Visita mi canal.
It's just fun learning all aspects of this business, and really just to become a better storyteller. That's the whole point, really, to be able to communicate these things more easily and more readily to hopefully a broad audience.
Rhea is I don't know one of the only, but one of the characters that has a real moral core. I think a lot of people are a little bit jaded and let the more sinister part take over, and I think she's still somewhat intact. And I think she really tries to go for the things in life that are more important than work, than this, than that, and I think she's really trying to live in that and communicate. And I think this movie is a lot about communication, and I think she really is still trying to talk and feel and be with people. Everybody's had those relationships that you know aren't good for you. And this is definitely one of them. I think it's a very manipulative, abusive relationship, and in a very, I think, worse than being hit, very subtle, very undermined kind of way. Even so much so where he always brings Rhea to a certain point and then does not let her in. People will read the script, I think, and say, oh, it's depressing. or like a Leaving Las Vegas, or those movies that they say, oh, very depressing. I didn't find it very depressing. I found it very human, and that I find very beautiful. It's one of the most human things that I've read. This is just one of those things that you watch and you go, I'm going to watch that in 10 years and still be proud of it, and go, that someone, I guarantee everybody will have an opinion about this movie. Whether they love it, they hate it, they will have an opinion. It will bring up conversation. It will entertain. When this came along and I saw that he was playing that role, I was like, oh, I have to get this role, because he's just so present. And I'm learning a lot from him. He's very still in his choices, but they resonate so high from the stillness, which is such a trick, but he's so good at it. So I'm learning.
We're all trying to look the other way with regard to stereotypes and racism, and look at Cameron, man. He straightened his hair, all that, to try and be as white as he possibly can to fit in, and you still never fit in. You still get treated like dirt, the cops still take advantage of you. The hypocrisy involved with everything, and when it all comes to the fore, man, you've got nothing left. You've got nothing but the humanity of you left, and sometimes you gotta fight for that humanity because we make too many compromises, and that's what I think this movie is about. What's being said matters. Half of the things, it's a question of mind over matter, and most things you don't mind or care about because they don't matter. This is something that matters. I would love to do a romantic comedy, but they don't matter right now. When I first came in the room, he was very specific about what he wanted, and I knew the audition began with hello, because Paul has to see it. The stuff we got on the page is just an outline. And I knew a lot of the stuff we were going to have to bring ourselves, so I think Paul has been almost genius in doing that. And for the actors that surrounded themselves around him, that says a lot about how people view Paul. They trust him. Because it's not just me or Lorenz Tate trusting him, it's Jennifer Esposito trusting him, it's Sandra Bullock trusting him. It's Don Cheadle giving that ultimate trust towards somebody. It's Ryan Phillippe, who's just, Matt Dillon. All these people who are really renowned for doing things their own way. She has this insight, this insight that a lot of black women have, and oftentimes, they keep their men going by saying it's okay, it's okay. When she realizes what just happened over there was not okay, that's not a worthwhile sacrifice. Because you gave up my dignity. You didn't just give up your own right there, you gave up my dignity. So you've given up all of black people's dignity and what you allowed to happen right there. So, and her wisdom in portraying this girl, she has that insight, that ability to look into a situation beyond the obvious and discern the outcome. I love the language, but then, with the revelation that Cameron's been faking it all these years, the language that happened back there in that fight, that was Cameron's true language. That was that street that Cameron's been hiding for 20-odd years to all these people, That was the cat that got him up out of the bad places.
Christine is a pretty average kind of woman. She's fairly frustrated in her life, in her marriage, but none of those things are really articulated in the movie. But what is articulated is her sense of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, in the wrong relationship, and it's ironically through her crashing into a police officer, the last person in the world she'd think could teach her anything. For Christine, She wants him to be all man, all dignity, all pride, in order for her to feel like she is entitled. I mean, that's the thing, I think, as a woman. You know, she's the rib of her man, you know what I mean? And in order for her to feel proud, he has to feel proud, and that's the terrible tragedy. One of the things that excited me most was the realism of it, and yet the irony that so many of these people do, you know, that their lives cross, I mean, in amazing ways, and yet it didn't feel forced or contrived, which was a huge achievement. In story terms and dramatic terms, obviously, but also just, it felt true to me that life is like this. I think really what it's ultimately saying is that a person, a stranger, can affect you and change your life. And we're all doing that to each other all the time, so it's like, take care. And it's also about perception and misunderstandings. I couldn't believe that he had written Christine with me in mind. I just felt so flattered and proud that he would do that, and that I'd been any kind of inspiration for, you know, for that part of the story. It was the flattery, that's what did it. And Paul just, he's got so much enthusiasm, and I think that he said that he wrote this movie very, very quickly. It just poured out of him. And it has that feeling to it. And it's almost like Paul's no longer the owner of this story. It's so much bigger than him or all of us put together. And I love his modesty in that respect.
Tom Hansen, who's essentially an idealistic young officer, the type of officer you'd want patrolling your neighborhood, the guy who wants to do the right thing, and is put into a situation with a partner, played by Matt Dillon, where he's made uncomfortable by this guy's philosophies and by his behavior. So the basic storyline for my character in the film is that I no longer want to be partnered with this guy. I'm not comfortable with. It was exciting to get to work with him, and he really has taken on this role. I think is difficult, his role, because he's playing a guy who most people wouldn't like, and Matt's really kind of sunk into it and kind of gotten, you know, everything out of it that he possibly can. I think it represents the path the majority of the characters in the film are on. You know, they are sort of all coming to some sort of a crash and some sort of a breakdown in their lives. So I think it's the idea of so many different people from so many different walks kind of being slammed together in some fateful incident. It's cautionary in the sense that you see how fragile humanity in general is, and you also see how, you know, the slightest choice that you make, you know, may not seem that important at the time, but it ends up having huge ramifications and huge ripple effect.
Rick Cabot's moral conundrum is that he has to make a decision about whether or not to squash a volatile situation that could ignite another race war in Los Angeles, or to allow for the public to believe that they have a fallen hero rather than an enemy. And he's essentially a good man, Rick is. But he's a human being. He's fallible, as are we all. And therefore an interesting character to play. I've lived in Los Angeles since 1991. I've seen a lot. We all have, if we've been here in the last 12, 15 years, even more. This film takes an unflinching look at these issues. It doesn't give answers necessarily. Rick and Jean are sort of the trophy couple. They've kind of won each other. I won't speak for Sandy, but I do know that she has a character through line that comes to a realization that maybe everything about she hoped and aspired for through this relationship is absolutely evaporating before her very eyes, all due to a series of coincidences and intermingling circumstances that make up what this film's very brilliant vision has, that lets the audience see it, although the characters aren't all aware of it, until each notion reveals itself to them, selectively and carefully. There was something that was most compelling about it to me is that it gives equal weight to everyone's character and everyone's situation, from the very top to the very bottom. There's two thieves, two carjackers, who I view as some sort of postmodern Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I mean, they drive around town, and it's the district attorney's stolen Lincoln Navigator, giving social commentary, as would a Greek chorus, about what it means to live in Los Angeles at the time. And of course, you know, their stories are intermingled with everyone else's. Those are the two, I think, most compelling characters in the picture. Having made this film, is that it's a picture that's a dose, not so much of reality, but of a reality that I think that we all would want to try and better ourselves to believe in by not looking the other way.
Anthony, the guy I'm playing, is a very intelligent, street smart person, and you know, he's kind of like, he feels the revolution coming on. So in a sense, he just wants to empower his friend by the name of Peter, who is Lorenz Tate, and he wants him to learn as much as he can from this individual that I play named Anthony. You know, I think I know it all, and at the same time, you know, we make a living by jacking cars and taking them to the chop shop, and that's how we make our money. So it's kind of crazy that I want to empower somebody. You know, it's contradictory, seeing as though I'm a thief. This was the first time I got my ass kicked in a movie, and I'm just bruised up, you know what I mean? But I was a soldier about it. I didn't say quit. I had no complaints. We kept doing it. Takes like at least 50 times when we getting kicked in the stomach, and you know, I'm just all bruised up and tired, but it was worth it, man, because we made it real. It wasn't even acting. We made it real. So that is the turning point in the movie to me, and it's just basically where all hope is lost, and we just basically have no way out, you know what I mean? And we have to rob one of our own kind. This is one of those movies that nobody wants to admit whether or not they feel this way, because it's something that's usually said behind doors, you know what I mean? So for people to see it up front and close like this, some people are gonna be upset, it's gonna be real controversial, but damn it, it's the truth. Working with Lorenz Tate, man, I think after about the first 10 minutes that me and him sat down, we felt like we knew each other for a long time. You know, we're both real focused individuals, and we know what we want out of life, and we know that we have to get it, and it takes a lot of competition for it. So I think, you know, him and I are working real good together. And I think definitely, you know, plan to keep the good relationship going after the movie, you know what I'm saying? He's like my friend now. Terrence Howard, man, a wonderful actor, man. You can see it in his eyes. The person that told me that when you're in a scene with somebody, it's about stealing the scene and it's about winning. The same way I do in music, so I think it's real good working with him because he motivates me to try and work as hard as I possibly can, especially when I'm in a scene with him. You know, I've learned a lot because I'm kind of like, I've only done one movie, you know what I mean? So working around all these experienced actors, I'm kind of like the freshman of the group. So basically what I'm doing is just soaking it all in, make sure I get to set and watch and just try to absorb everything that's going on and learn from these talented actors and actresses that are out here doing their thing on this movie.
The way I sort of fit into this movie, someone judges me as being a college kid along with my buddy, who's played by Ludacris, Anthony. And what we basically do, you know, we play or pretend as though we're like college kids, clean-cut, African-American, well-to-do young citizens. And we are. But the flip side of it is we like to rob people. That's how we get our money. That's how we get paid. We up pistol and we get our money by robbing people.
Tus trailers, visita mi canal.
What we're just trying to do is, you know, put something that actually goes on in everyday life on screen for people, again, to just reflect on who we are. And I think a lot of people are going to get a strong message at, you know, who they really are, who they think they are, and you discover that you're not. A person who may think that they're not the racist person, that I have not one racist bone in my body at all. Absolutely, I've never said that word. You're right. We've all gotten dirty. One thing that is interesting about these guys, they're smart. They're not like uneducated people who don't know right from wrong, people who don't know how to adapt to any environment. They are very, very smart, very sharp, but they just get themselves caught up into things that just get worse and worse the further they go. And it's just like, what do you do? What do you do? I think it's a realistic kind of a point of view in some cases. You know, you ask, you know, is it authentic for what we're able to do in 2 hours? You know, we're seeing all different kinds of people, and for 2 hours to be entertained, you know, it's as close to being real as I've seen it on page. And I'm hoping that all of us can do the very best and maximize what we've seen on paper and put it out there on screen, so people can not only be entertained, but, you know, just, you know, find something out about themselves. Don is completely open, and he is phenomenal, and he called me and said, listen, I want you to meet Paul, I want you to come to this movie, I want you to come and play. I said, just tell me what time to show up on set. And again, they got me out here all late, and it's cold, and brother out here, hands are freezing. But I'm here because I love it. I'm here because of Don Cheadle. I'm here because of all the actors who want to participate in this piece. I'm here because I think that I can contribute something to this movement in this film. And all of us are going to be proud of this film.
Officer Ryan, who's a veteran with kind of a reputation for having a chip on his shoulder and having some racial problems in the police department. He's got a partner who's green, who's a new guy, and they're both coming from two different places. For me, it was very difficult to play a character who's this extreme, and I found it kind of disturbing to do the scenes where, first of all, he's a cop who's abusive and is very angry, where I could identify with a lot of the human emotions that this character was going through. I couldn't identify with his actions. The cast I've worked with has just been great, and I like working with Paul because he's a director who really knows what he wants, and he's got real passion. He brings it to the set. I mean, I'll take that any day, you know. I would hope that the film would have a profound effect on the audience, that I think there's something very universal about all the characters in the film, no matter how how flawed they may be as human beings, or I think is really important, that they are affected by these characters on a very human level, and that people can really identify with parts of their own lives.
She's the example of someone who has really built her life around things that are incredibly trivial and empty. You know, she worked hard to get the ring she has. She worked hard for the home. She worked hard to be the perfect, or as perfect as she could, arm piece for her husband, and realizes during the course of events that she really has left nothing for herself. You always hear actors and filmmakers say it's an important story for our time, it's very important. But you know what? This is an important story to tell, and the timing is perfect because it's allowed us to get comfortable again and to feel like we might be safe. And we're not. We're not safe from ourselves. We're not safe from our prejudices or others' prejudices. And I just wanted, it's rare when you read something that inspires you to leave your home and rectify the situation, and I just wanted to be a part of it. The language in this script should not be messed with. I'm the queen of taking someone's words and bastardizing them with improv, but the thing I noticed about this script was every time I got away from even a word, an and, each and had a reason to be there. And it wasn't, I don't like playing people like this because that's not how I was raised, that's not how I think. But I like the fact that I'm playing it to show that this is how people think and feel. And in an odd way, I feel like she is one of the more truthful people in the film because she says it like it is. Bobby and Paul, the writers and the director of this film. You know, it's just nice, and you can feel it the moment you step on set. I was here for a very short time. I wasn't in this movie for very long. But, you know, it's when the words are great, you pray that the experience and the direction will be as good. Most of the time, you don't get the benefit of both. But you got more than the benefit of the both. Sometimes you allow yourself to get pigeonholed. But if you read material like this and someone's willing to give you that job, you really want to step up to plate and do your best work. And I think everyone, for the same reasons that I was really excited, wanted to do this film. If you leave this film and don't see yourself, you're a liar. You're an absolute liar. And I think maybe it's not your time to see it yet, but if you don't see a piece of yourself and just acknowledge, wow, I can see why I would pass judgment in this situation, not given all the information. If you can't at least say that, leaving this film, you need to see it again, and you need to see it again, and really think about what your place is on this planet, because, you know, it represents, I think, everyone.
It's about strangers, colliding with other strangers. I wanted to tell an ensemble piece without any of the characters knowing each other. And I wanted to see how strangers affect other strangers, and just how one person affects another without even knowing they even met them or touched them, and want to see how those things circled around. All of these things happened to me. The carjacking that happened to me, changing locks in the house, that was us, the video being stolen. All those things were just little things that happened to us. I just decided to write it from the other person's point of view. I read it from the carjacker's point of view rather than my own. And so I just wonder what happened when they stole that tape, and wonder if that's saying what happened there. We say things in this which are not nice. We speak truths that are ugly, ugly truths, and we let nice people say those things. We let some beloved people, Sandra Bullock, some of the most beloved people in America, say horrible, horrible things, and half of us should be going, oh, that's horrible, but yeah, I sort of feel that. Because unless you explore these issues, unless you just sit them out and go, no, this is the truth, guys. We don't like it, it's not politically correct, it's not, but this is the truth. This is what we feel. And until you explore those issues, you can't deal with them, you can't handle them. Saw things that he just, like a lot of people, wanted to be a part of saying something what's important to say. But as a producer, well, first of all, he's such a great spirit and such a great person to have around, and that just spills out into everything. He's such a smart man and such a passionate man, and he was able to reach out to his friends and say, no, listen, these are guys you should take seriously. People gravitated towards roles that they hadn't played before and were a little nervous about playing, and that helped too. So we got something really different and unique from each person, rather than saying, oh yes, I've seen that guy play that before. So these are people playing things you haven't seen before. It's nice. We didn't write any villains at all. They're all good people, and they're all just horribly flawed human beings. They're us. I really didn't want anybody to judge these people. I don't want That's not true. I want everyone to judge these people. I want people to go, oh yes, good person, bad person. Oh, I would never do that. Well, I might do that. We have a quilt here, and each little patch, and how it's connected and stitched to the next patch, I think is important. And if you pull out one or t'other, I think the whole thing would fall apart. I hope they are moved, and I hope they are torn, and I hope they go walk away talking, and just talking to their friends as they go out and go, what was that about, or what did that happen, and arguing. I remember standing outside a movie a couple of years ago and arguing with my friends about what happened, and we just had polarized positions. And that's what I hope happens here. I want to polarize people. I want this to be, once you get people angry, you can get them talking. Once you get them talking, people can resolve issues, and that's what I like to say.
We hashed out characters. A lot of them came from incidents in Paul's own life, a lot of the characters and situations. And then we found what we thought was 9 real relationships of real people in Los Angeles, and then placed them in volatile situations that involved the notion of race. Don Cheadle was the first guy to come aboard, and everybody rocked behind him. And then Sandra Bullock, and Matt Dillon, and Ludacris, and Brendan Fraser, all the guys. They're all fantastic, and we're the luckiest guys in the world to be able to shoot this script with those actors. They're functional to the extent that they know where they live, they know what they have to do in order to live, and they know what they have to do in order to survive, and to find some sense of thriving. And if that makes them dysfunctional, they're dysfunctional. But they're doing what they think they need to do in the world to survive, and then they pay prices for those choices. Paul would say to me, can we do this? Or I'd say to him, can we do this? And the answer always come back the same: if it's truthful, if it's real, if it's right, if it serves the story, we can do it. And if we can't, we can't. And then we just didn't allow ourselves to be put off by the ugliness of it. I mean, race is nothing if not ugly. And no one was going to pay any attention to the storytelling if we tried to get around that. It's never been anything but a meritocracy working with Paul, and that's why I love working with him. And I also admire him as a human being. I think he's one of the few people in the world who, when he has a chance to do something for someone, he tries to do it without anybody knowing about it. And when you see the little pockets of secrecy when you work this close with someone, and it's a great thing to see somebody with a good heart. Because of Don's involvement, we had actors on every level reading the script without an offer. Just to say, without a financial offer, just to say, hey, read the script, you're interested in doing it. That just doesn't happen in Hollywood, and that wouldn't have happened without Don. I think that on some level, everybody in America is touched by the question of race and racism. Everybody. There's nobody who's escaped it that I know of. And if we've written a piece of work that touches on the soul of that problem, then everybody in America is going to want to go see it and say, you know what? Yeah, I think that's the truth. And from that truth, maybe we bring something out of it.
This is a film about real life. It's also something of a fable and a morality play. And it's a story of hope. The reason I think that it escapes genre categorization is that it also escapes tonal categorization. The picture, as it weaves various stories together and as it weaves different characters and personalities together, it also weaves tone. There's levity, there's heartbreak, there's tragedy, there's beauty, there's comedy. And I think that it's those elements that allow it to touch upon other genres, but never actually lock in. It's the language you don't say except for in private. And I think that that's what makes it really stand out. It's extremely articulate, and it's actually quite literary in some ways as well. It's boldly thematic. It's courageous in regards to it's courageous in its ability to avoid editorialization. It just throws it out as it is, and it just allows the unspoken to be spoken. The script is divided into a series of stories, each of which focuses on a primary relationship between two people. Affectionately, on this movie, we call it the cars. We always talk about the entire movie is structured on the basis of who's in which car, which is very much Crash. And so going through the cars, in car number 1, we have the DA and his highfalutin wife, Brendan Fraser and Sandy Bullock. In a car that comes into contact with them, we have 2 hip-hop kids, one played by Ludacris and one played by Lorenz Tate. That car hits up against a television director and his wife, played by Terrence Howard and Tandy Newton, who are stopped on their way home from a television awards event by another car in which there are 2 cops, Matt Dillon and Ryan Felipe. And as I said earlier about Don Cheadle, then there's a car that seems to find its way into every story, and that's the car driven by Don Cheadle, who also plays a cop, a lieutenant, and his partner, Jennifer Esposito. All of his stories on television also had to do with the sort of true nature of the human spirit. This is a particular exploration of one element of that. But it's been a real pleasure to work with a director who has the brass tacks of television. I mean, he moves fast, he knows what he wants, he's a perfectionist, he's addicted to specificity. And I think that these are all elements of the honing of his skill that he did, through that work. In the preparation of the film, we went from the most exotic notion of sort of magic realism all the way into verite and sort of landed somewhere in between. I think that we're showing it like it is, but we're trying to point out its peculiarities and trying to point out sort of the symbolism of the city. Don Cheadle, he was the first actor we submitted the screenplay to. He came on board with flying colors, willing to play any role and do whatever was necessary to make it happen. And he's just been a guiding force. He is so politically, emotionally committed to the notion of exposing issues of racism. He's not afraid of anything. He beat the drum to collect the cast. He beat the drum to collect the money.
When you watch this film, you'll laugh and then catch yourself and say, why am I laughing? Because it has this very poignant message that says, not good to be a prejudiced person. And I think it just puts it in our faces in a humorous way, and also in a very serious way. So that's what I think the moral of this picture is. It always amazes me how he comes up with this stuff. It's like, wow. But the voice in it, the way it's structured, is how people's lives interject each other and how we cross over into each other's lives. That's so hard to do. I mean, there's very few films that are successful doing that, even on the page. And this was just, it just flowed like a little wave, just little waves as it just like blended and it shocked you, and then Paul and Bobby have an interesting way of taking an antagonist and make him a protagonist, and then flip him. He's such a perfectionist that, I mean, he's so intricate in every detail that, that is written in each scene. I mean, again, you have the advantage of somebody who wrote it, and Bobby's been there too on the set, and they collaborate so brilliantly together, of knowing what they wrote and how each character should act and portray their characters.
I saw urban, gritty, moving camera, you're there. That was basically the words Paul and I had about the look of things. I just wanted to be like you're there. And we both tried to hang on to that. Crash is to the state of racism in LA as what traffic would have been to the, a look-see at drug traffic. You can also liken it to something, in an awkward way to like LA Story, but it's very candid about the reality of racism. Because in this film, people talk the way they really would talk. And you get an insight. So sometimes we have the camera spying on those moments. It's not just like movie coverage. And then there are times in the film where we just shoot it like a movie. Hopefully that is another juxtaposition or a crashing idea that is going to take you through this thing as like an adventure. It's always different, and that's why it's nice. I mean, I do like the excitement of the handheld and all the moving camera, but then again, the times you sit back and look at the tableaus and the pieces of somebody walking down the boulevard or two kids in a car playing it out, that is also something enjoyable.
We're trying to set up these different worlds, the worlds that these different characters inhabit, and show the contrast between them and the way that these people and these cultures, different ethnicities, rub up against one another. Obviously, the selection of those things is the specificity of them is really important in this case. The sort of concept that he and I cooked up together as we were prepping it has to do with juxtapositions, contrasts, found imagery, just odd things that you'd never expect to see. Los Angeles, for example, as you probably know, is a city of, you'll just see shopping carts in the oddest places, filled with the oddest things. Vendors sell everything on the street from hubcaps to piñas to cacahuates, Those are beautiful contrasts, right next to somebody in a $75,000 SUV at the off-ramp. Realism is something we're working on, just trying to make sure that everything stays real, and also certain ironies in the juxtapositions. One of the things we've tried to do to sort of unify things is we decided to set the picture at Christmas. Since our shoot actually bridged the holidays, we were going to be faced with Christmas decorations and decided to embrace them. And I think that it's probably going to lend some poignancy to the story.
Steady cam?
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much.
We do like this. We do. Let's clean this up. Let's do our reverse. Let's do this. Pushing in. Kicking the shit.
See now, fall.
Yeah.
Now the car is stopping in the back.
Yeah, I like it. So take it this way, Plum.
Yeah.
Turn it around. Bring it around.
And now they're down on the ground here, right before ground eye.
You keep shooting that
like again, mini master.
Yeah.
Then we got
you're down, and he's down. You've got a gun. You've never shot anybody before. You're like this. Right? Boom, 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 boom. I'm saying, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. And he's saying, and you're going, I'm not going to shoot you. A, I haven't got any bullets in my gun. Right. And B, I've never shot anybody before. Even if I did, you want to go to reload. And he's saying, shoot him. He doesn't know you haven't got any guns, bullets in a gun. And he's saying, I'll shoot you. And he's going, shoot him. Right. That's good. I'll shoot you. That's good. Let's keep your anger there. Bad. Just keep that. That shit.
Just don't go out.
No, I'm not.
Keep your aim right.
Right.
It'll all be good.
Point your toes down. Yeah, that's right. That's why I was catching this stuff right here.
Get up right. Legs down, just to be safe.
As long as goddamn
field goal.
Oh, you can be holding it. Holding it like this. Boom.
Yeah, with your foot.
No, because I'm going to kick right to this thing.
Okay.
I want to kick right to that.
That's better.
I think we said 35, right, Nick?
Actually, no.
Want to go that way? Sorry. 35. Let me confirm with the boss.
Visita mi canal.
Tape it up.
Okay, all right.
Duty. Duty. Okay.
Please, just get out of the car. Don't touch nothing. Thanks for going.
Are you all above?
Yeah, after the gun.
Let's put this car in second
Hop up,
position,
hop
please.
up. We gotta get the camera out here and all that. Dana, right here, buddy.
Go over like this. Like this, and then you reach for the gun, right? And you're going. You've just been tripping. So that's what you got to get into. I want to get you close enough, but I want to end in that. So you reach for the gun, and then you scramble. Okay?
So I'm starting like that?
No, we're going to back that up, but that's the part that I need. I need it on your face closer, and then on the gun.
And
sort
so
of moving it.
the opening jet, Paul. So navigator's coming back. Put it on its first mark.
What do you got? You know, it's great to see a cop who cares as much as you.
Do I smoke?
No, I quit.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's great to see a cop like you who cares so much. Look, 'cause here you could be home now, right? Well, no. You should be home.
19 Hank, take 4 now.
Just in general.
It's good police work.
Mark.
Your attitude, man, is... All right, both of you, turn around. Put your hands on top of your head and interlock your fingers.
All that's not necessary, officer. We are a block away from our home.
Turn around, put your hands on top of your head and interlock your fingers.
got?
Look, officer, I'm a television director. Wait a minute. It's just me and my wife coming from a show.
Calm down, sir.
Hands off him!
Put your hands on top of your head, man.
Will you just do what he says?
No problem.
You guys already inside this time?
Yeah.
Too fast. We're going to go one more time.
We'll go once again.
Going again.
Going once again. Yeah, go, Amy. Please don't stand on the street, guys.
Alan and Julie are just waiting for a table.
Hey, Mark.
Background!
Same thing, man. But did you see any white people in there waiting an hour and 32 minutes for a plate of spaghetti? Huh? And how many cups of coffee did we get?
You don't drink coffee, and I didn't want any.
Man, that woman poured cup after cup to every single white person around her. Did she even ask me? Man, that woman poured cup after cup to every single white person around her. And did she even ask you if you wanted it?
Well, you didn't get coffee that you didn't want, and I didn't order, and that's evidence of racial discrimination. Did you happen to notice that our waitress was black?
And black women don't think in stereotypes? Tell me something, man. When was the last time you met one who didn't think she knew everything about your lazy ass before you even opened your mouth? That waitress sized us up in 2 seconds. You see, we're black, and black people don't tip. So she wasn't gonna waste her time. Now, somebody like that's nothing you can do to change their mind, man.
How much did you leave her?
You expect me to pay for that kind of service? What? What the fuck are you laughing at?
Nothing. I just said like I thought.
Kill me. Wait. You see what that woman just did?
She's cold.
And she got colder as soon as she saw us.
Come on, man.
Man, look around you, man. You kill me, man. You couldn't find a whiter, safer, or better lit part of this city right here. Yet this white woman sees 2 black guys who look like UCLA students strolling down the street, and her reaction is blind fear? I mean, look at us, dog. Are we dressed like gangbangers? No. You know what I'm saying? Do we look threatening? No. Fact, if anybody should be scared around here, it's us. The only 2 black faces surrounded by a sea of over-caffeinated white people patrolled by the trigger-happy LAPD. So you tell me, why aren't we scared?
Because we have guns.
Trailers. Visita mi
You could be
canal.
right. Hey! Yo! Come here. Give me the key.
You can hold the battery. No more calls tonight.
$10 says she calls you in the car. $10 says she calls you in the car.
$10? $10 is a lot of money where I come from.